Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Nip and a Half Fantasy Football Podcast. Out of the back of the international break and looking ahead to Gameweek 4. Paul, it seems like ages. Well, it has been ages. It's been a couple of weeks. We've only done two pods, haven't we, this season, I think, or maybe three. How are things going with you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. I was in Copenhagen for the Scotland game on Friday, so it was a good result for us. 0-0 draw. But need to follow up tonight against the win against the mighty Belarus, which known as in Scotland's history. So where we'll slip up.
I should probably know, but what does it mean to you in terms of the group and stuff? Is it looking
Oh,
good?
it's a smaller group, so we have only played. That was our first game, so it was away in Denmark, who are the highest seeded team.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like a really good result for us.
Well, there is a good start. Wales beat Kazakhstan 1-0 on Thursday, so the top of the group. But again, because of the way the groups have been staggered, I think Belgium have got like a couple of games in hand. So I think Wales are probably looking reasonably good spot for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Maybe if they can do Belgium, maybe have a chance of winning the group. But we shall see. How was your fantasy? How have your fantasy seasons gone so far?
Um, so. I'm sat 23rd in the ultimate leaderboard, which is a very good gauge of how you're doing against the engaged manager. So I can't. So when thinking about it like that, I think I've had a good start. It just doesn't necessarily feel like that in particular dream team because I feel like I'm about 2 weeks behind and not doing well in points, and also 2 weeks behind where I want to be in terms of shaping up my team as well. So it's a bit of a mess at the moment. Um,
Should we should we
Telegraph's,
start on Dream Team?
yeah, yeah.
I know we had a quick chat, didn't we, on Friday about some transfers and things. How did your week pan out?
Got 75 points, which feels bad when I see some other high scores in the week, but all things considered, maybe it was not an absolute disaster. Um, I kept hold of Palmer, so I used another sub, brought in Buemo, who got 12 points. So I was
Oh,
pretty
nice,
happy with the
nice
outcome of
return
that.
there.
Kept in Bowen, didn't go to Pedro, which worked out well because Bowen got 13 points. Probably the biggest travesty is that I would have got Shalaba had I had point 0.01 more in the
Oh,
bank.
that
But
was that was a conversation we had, wasn't it? I remember now.
yeah,
Oh
but I
well.
opted for Romero instead. So yeah, not great, but not an absolute disaster as well.
Who did you
I've got
captain?
Bruno,
Yep.
so 9 points, which Haaland 11. I won't lose sleep over.
No.
I won't lose sleep over that. I've got so many options depending on different things, what I'm planning on doing this week. Um, yeah, if Palmer's fit, that's obviously good, and I'll just keep him in. I'm not going to transfer him out unless he's out for, say, 2, 3 weeks or up to the next international break, but I would probably use another sub on him that way. Ballard, I've still got in my team. If he's fit, do I keep him as well? Possibly. I've just got too many players that I want to get rid of. And I've got Bruno, who's cash cow,
Yeah, he is.
but is probably going up in value. And my team value is also not great. So do I
What are you
retain
on
him?
team value? Just so I can score another
Uh,
point on you.
51 exactly.
I think we're roughly the same, actually. Yeah, well, I'm 51.1, but yeah,
So
that's not
so right
bad.
now I've got penciled in on the assumption that Palmer's fit, Ballard's not. Semenyo and Ballard out. And
Oh wow.
getting two Crystal Palace defenders in.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. What, to move to a
They've moved
four
to a
four
4
two? No,
three,
four three three.
which was a tactic of which you deployed last season and worked out pretty well for you. It gives you flexibility in your
Nice.
following week's moves. Um, I don't, Palace don't seem to have much in reserve in defence, so I could see them going strong against Millwall, and the Conference League doesn't start for a week after that, so you'd get a rest midweek the following week. Albeit Palace's fixtures are quite nice anyway. I think it's West Ham that they play the following week. So that's what I'm loosely on. But and because I don't want to take Bourne out and Pedro is doing well, I was considering playing my 12th man on Pedro this week as well. Which
Another one.
12th
Oh,
man,
sorry, 12th man. I see. Yeah.
yeah, rather than a
Oh,
sub.
interesting.
But I could take out Fernandez, free up the money, bring in a different player in midfield. I'd also thought about if Palmer's fit and Ballard's not, keeping Ballard, moving to 4-3-3 and then playing a sub on Ballard to bring in a midfielder with a view of taking him out the following week. So, yeah, there's a lot of permutations run through my head. The problem I've got, and this is this is good from Dream Team's perspective, is that they've priced all the European players like kind of 3.5 or above.
Yeah.
So finding a budget enabler that plays Europe is exceedingly difficult, and therefore I want to get into next week. This is my closing part because I've spoken a lot. I want to get next week and then be happy with the moves that I've made this week. That gives me some flexibility next week.
Yeah, that makes sense. But as you said right at the start, I think that shows me that you're feeling that you've locked yourself into a position you don't like yourself in at the moment, and that you want to try and just unlock it again if we can make the move. I think that's sensible, mate. I think that's the way to play it. Is not to panic and not to go rogue and not to use loads of different chips and whatever else, and just take your medicine, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've had a decent start. Well, I think again, it's all contextual. I think you're a, I wouldn't say a pessimist, but you're cautious about being optimistic. Is that a double? No, it's not a double negative, but something like that.
A realistic optimist.
A realist. I like that. A realistic optimist. Whereas I just kind of look overall. I think I'm about 11. No, I'm not. I'm about 15k. I have used 2 substitutes, which I didn't really want to use the one this week, but I was right on the money in one of the monthly competitions. I was like a point off, and I had up to 3 million to get a defender in, of which there was none available apart from like De Kuiper against Man City or something like that. And it just so happened that the Kushinov started for Man City, which I wasn't expecting, and he was 3 million on the dot. And I thought, is this fate? Is this fate? And as it worked out, I mean, he got booked, they conceded, and whatever else. It was a bit of a waste of a sub, but it's okay. In terms of my moves, I feel I have been quite fortunate so far, but I've also held on to players who I think will do well regardless of drops and things. I think that there's a big focus on money, and that's absolutely right. On budget. I do get that. But for example, I think I took out Rutter in game week 1 and held on to Njai, even though there was quite a big swing there budgetary wise, and Njai has rewarded me with an 11 pointer and a 10 pointer in game weeks 2 and 3, which call it luck, call it, whatever you want to call it. But I was kind of happy to hold on to him. As it happens, unfortunately, Everton's Carabao match is now not this week, as was forecast, this next week, which is a real pain because I've got 2 Everton players, but I don't really want to get rid of them now. Because they've got the double the following week. I brought in Shalabar, and I can just say that was complete luck, right? To get to... Well, I brought my 2 transfers in this week with Shalabar and Pedro, and I don't think I've ever scored 28 points combined, excluding a captain, off 2 transfers in the first game of the game week before. So that was like an incredible start. Obviously Haaland, Bruno, and penalty save off Roef, so I'll probably hold for another few weeks, unless my team is in really good shape. I'm probably happy to hold Semenyo this week. I think home to Brighton, he's pretty good at home, and I'm going to sell Bruno just because, as you say, he's a cash cow, even if he's going up in price. I think he's got Man City and Chelsea now in his next two. No more doubles.
Yep.
He's gone for me. So I've been looking at more Chelsea players, actually. I don't think I'm going to go Palmer. Maresca rested him last year a lot, did he? Well, he wasn't included in the European team, so I definitely can't see him playing the Carabao. He may or may not play in Europe. And I just don't think he's been that incredible an option, for the second half of last season. And I think because of his price and because, as you rightly say, there's so many options, I'm looking at Enzo Fernandez potentially as a replacement. He's like 2 million cheaper, or Cucurella potentially to go in with Shalabar. They're sort of the two I'm looking at the moment. I can't afford them both. It's worth saying. The second would be for Ballard. I can't afford them both. But yeah, I'm just trying to, look ahead now. To not just the following week, but the week after that and the week after that, which is how I play the game. I'm willing to take a short-term sort of hit on specific players to look weeks in advance and hopefully that that strategy the last few years has done me quite well. But I have a fair bit of fortune, particularly on Njai and Shalabar, I think. And I was so close to not going for Pedro, but I was going to go Shalabar and Romero. And I went for Pedro, and I'm glad I did, because I just thought it was nearing the deadline. I was just thinking, well, I know I'm going to want him long term. I was thinking of subbing him in, but I thought, well, I know I'm going to want him next week anyway, and he's going up 0.3. It just didn't seem to make any sense for me not to get him because of all those factors. So, but yeah, reasonably happy. Think I'm slightly above you, aren't I? But I have used two of my subs to poor effect, 2 3-pointers, which has been disappointing. I'm not sure how effective the substitutes are going to be later on in the season, because the vast majority of the rest of the season from now actually are double game weeks, aren't they? And even if they miss out the one, they'll probably play the second anyway. So I don't know. But yeah, rough plans. Just say hello to the chat before we move on. FPL Sparta is in. App is in. Bobby Shearer, Steve Ricks, Gary Plant. Steve is getting Sesko and Diallo out for Mateta and Enzo Fernandez. Yeah, 2 lovely moves there. And Ryan Quinn says, really enjoyable chat. I've got Sarr. Can I sub him after the first game he misses? Or do you have to wait for both fixtures? I think, is it both, Paul?
No, I'm sure it's the first game only.
I think it's the first. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd be left in a position where you couldn't get a doubler in unless like a team has a single game and the person and the player missed the single game.
Okay.
Like, and that was chronologically before the first of a doublers team.
I think we may need to check the rules on that just to be sure. I'd be surprised if that was the rule, only because you pick a player and he's got two set fixtures. So even if he does miss the first game, he's sort of, he's locked in for the second game. But you might be right, mate. You probably are right, because I haven't read the rule. But it is a good question. Viney says both, I think. Not sure. Let us know in the chat if you've actually read the rules for the game we're talking about here. It would be useful. Should we talk about TFF next? Have you used any transfers? That's what I want to know.
I've used 2, and I brought in Sarr.
Oh, no way. So you'll be using a third.
Yeah.
I take
the 6 points that I got from him. So, yeah, I've used 2. So I brought in Sarr and I brought in Evan Nielsen for Palmer.
Yeah.
The week before. I'm doing pretty well.
You are.
Sitting at how many points did I get for the?
I think you had a good week this week, didn't you?
Yeah, 71 points for the week.
Nice.
And I am up to 2.5K. So yeah, pretty happy, and the team's set up pretty well as well. I now need to get rid of Sar, which I think I will move on for a Palace defender.
Have you got
Maybe
any Palace
again.
defenders? Have you got Henderson?
Nope, got cells and goals.
Oh wow, okay, interesting.
I've got double Everton defence, which
Yeah,
has
I
done
thought you
okay for
did.
me.
I was cheering when they conceded, knowing you had double Everton defence. So I can't work out how you've scored 10 points more than me. Who else? Who are your big scorers in the last week or two?
Bowen, Jai.
You got Bowen and Jai. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, yeah, I had Henderson and Munoz and Truffett, so I was going into it thinking I've definitely outscored you this week because you got double Everton defence and you scored 10 points more than me. I've made 2 disaster transfers, almost embarrassingly bad transfers. Well, I say that. I moved.
Have we had this conversation? I don't know that we
I
have.
don't think so. I think the first one may no. I don't think we have actually.
Did you bring in?
Don't
I
even
would
say it.
guess.
Don't say it.
I would guess Cunha and Dorgu.
Almost. Not Cunha. I would have, but I was locked in with the 3 with Strand Larson. I brought in Dorgu, who I think he got a 0 or 1 pointer against Grimsby.
And then didn't come on.
That was right. And then he didn't play.
No, he did. Yeah, he got taken off. He got taken off at half time in the Grimsby game, and then didn't appear against Burnley.
That was it. So I brought in Palmer to Dorgu. I was going to do someone else to maybe Cunha, maybe even Strand Larson. I'm glad I didn't because Strand Larson scored 2. Was it the first night or the following or the night after? Because he
Got
got
11 pointer, and then he didn't. Then he didn't appear.
And he didn't appear on the weekends. I've held on to him at
He
the
is
moment.
he is genuinely injured though,
Yeah,
because
I've
he's
seen that. Yeah,
not in the Norway squad as well. He was withdrawn from the Norway
I
squad.
saw that. And then I moved Dorgu on for Milenkovic, who went on to concede 3 against West Ham, so I ended up on a 0 pointer. So I think for my net 2 transfers, I got 1 point, which is impressive. So not the best start on transfers, but I've got 4-3-3 now. I don't like being locked in with 3 up front because I maybe would have gone for Cunha. I may have gone for Evan Nielsen as well. And when you're locked in on Salah, Haaland and Strand Larson, there's only so many ways you can go. I don't really like being locked in there. So I'm on 4-3-3 now. Henderson, Munoz, obviously really happy with them. Milenkovic and Aina, obviously not so happy with them. I saw this week that Forest haven't kept a clean sheet since April the 1st or something.
But kept 6 in a row in pre-season.
Yeah, exactly. Truffett, as I expected, or True Fair, has been really good value for 2.3. Really happy with him. He hasn't got any attacking returns yet, but he's been really dangerous. So I'm really glad I went for him. Bruno Semenyo and Anderson, happy with those 3. Haaland, Salah, and Strand Larson. But I'm 10k, 2 transfers down. I don't know what it is. I think this season so far, maybe, and more so last season, obviously, I feel like I'm having half decent weeks, but I'm not quite up with the average of the engaged manager, which I'm finding concerning. I'm not sure whether it's just a patience thing, but it feels like my patience hasn't been rewarded in the last season or 2 either. So I'm getting a bit concerned about maybe I'm missing players, or people are making transfers. I'm not really sure. So, I mean, happy with the team at the moment. Obviously, if Strand Larson is injured, I'll shift him on. Don't fancy Palmer in this format either now, I got to be honest, which is part of the reason I moved him on. It's all very well to say I'll move him on for the 4 for 1, but then when he's back, so I'm probably not going to bring him back. I just don't think he's worth the money.
Yeah, I don't have any plans. I don't have any plans to get him back either. I just need to move on Sar, and then I'm pretty happy with the rest of my team just now as well.
Well, the reason why I went for Strand Larson is because obviously he's really, really cheap, 3 million. But I think I prefer someone in there now, like a proper third forward. I think someone like Mateta or something like that could be really good. if we don't go Palmer, and because there are assets such as Semenyo and Truffert in particular are so cheap, you can probably afford to have. And Saka, he's injured, right? But he's not really an option, I don't think, at the moment either. Saka and Palmer out of form, you can afford to have good third forward. Bruno, just not. I nearly moved Bruno to Sa on Sunday, and I didn't. Obviously, I missed out on Sa's points. But while I can afford Bruno, I may as well leave him in because he is.
You've saved yourself two transfers. You've saved yourself two transfers. So I'd be out and out.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I'll probably leave Bruno in, but only because I can afford him. Because I'm not, I'm not above a Saka or Palmer at the moment. But yeah, very, very steady start, I would say. And I always look at the Ultimate League in terms of TFF. And like I say, I feel I've had on the front of it like a pretty good start. But yeah, I'm 44th or 74 in that, which just leads me to feel. But then it is congested. So I'm 44th on 153 points. And actually, it's ridiculously congested. Only 5 points further on, I'd be up to like top 30 almost. So, yeah,
one appearance and one assist.
I'll probably just leave it. I think for a while now. FPL, been an interesting start for both of us. I think FPL. I don't actually know how you've been doing in FPL.
I was doing really well after the first two game weeks, and then last week I transferred in Cunha and captained him. So
Captain Cunha, I see you got the. I'm just looking at your team now. 39 points. Team's in pretty good shape. Oh, you had Dew first on your bench.
Dew first. Well, I was never going to play him.
Oh, so I know that. I know
that. I'm wildcarded. You see, my team's in pretty good shape, but I'm wildcarded at the start of the international break.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've got a good team, though. What don't know what you're wildcarded into?
Well, I had a lot of players dropping, a lot of players that I was interested in.
Oh, mate. Dropping, you sound like an FPL Twitter person there. I'm dropping 0. I've gained 0.1. I've won FPL.
I find this abuse interesting, considering they've changed the game up. It has to be super aggressive, and now you're like criticizing me for being aggressive.
Well, no, I'm not saying you're being aggressive. I think you got a decent team. I'm not sure why you'd wildcard into. I would wildcard into your team. So, do you want to run through your existing team just for the watchers and listeners?
Sanchez and goals, which I'm happy with. Double Nottingham Forest defence, which I'm not happy with. Even I know they've got nice fixtures. Yeah. They've got nice fixtures on the horizon. They've got nice fixtures in Game Week 5 and Game Week 6, but going into this week didn't look particularly. Pedro Porro would have been fine, Salah would have been fine, and Jai fine.
Render's fine.
Joe
Pedro Cunha, fine. Watkins fine.
Cunha not fine. Anderson, it's a bit meh. Watkins, Juff, Fulkrug, De Kuiper, and you can score. You can put a line through that bench.
Yeah, the bench isn't great.
And therefore, I've got no I've just got the one transfer, so I've got limited flexibility in it. Whereas I really like the wildcard team that I've set up. I wanted Palace defence, so I'll probably get two Palace defenders in there, and yeah, just make some health changes. I just need to make sure that I'm set up so that what I am doing and what I'm conscious of is I'm not banking in transfers. So I want to make sure that I've got the players in that I want, or at least the price point in that I want. So if I do have to make a transfer, that I can do it in minimal moves. So I did get all the risers at the start. I pressed a wildcarded last season in an international break with 2 days before the game week was about to start, and wildcarded in all the players that had already risen in price over that period of time. So I amn't one to play for budget. I know I made that comment at the start, but I was half joking, but at the same time, it feels good to have having done it and be committed to it, and to the point that
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I get those small benefits as well.
Just quickly from the chat, Viney's put in, he says, the substitute feature, this is obviously for Dream Team, will become available if a player in your team does not feature in a match. So that would
Yeah,
suggest that that's after the first game. But he also said the player you wish to switch must not have taken part in any match during that game week. That leaves
yeah.
quite a lot of. I don't really like that, because say it's, unless they're basically playing on the Friday or the Saturday, you're going to find it hard, aren't you? I don't really. Sorry, I don't like it in terms of using it as part of a strategy. Really, it needs a lot of thought and a lot to happen for it to come off, if that makes sense.
I don't necessarily agree.
Okay.
I was just like, if a player's ruled out, I know there's managers that lie in press conferences, but if there's a player ruled out and therefore making your moves on the deadline to accommodate and facilitate for that, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to do.
Fair enough. It needs a lot of thought, though, doesn't it? And things to happen a certain way. I get what you're saying, but why wouldn't you just use your transfers to transfer them out?
Well, you could be getting rid of players that are going down in value that you definitely don't want longer
Money
term.
mad you are. You're money mad.
And the player might only be ruled out for 1 week, and with the view that they might be available for the following week.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So if you got a good example, in fact, that would be a good example. So say just now someone had SAR and they were ruled out this week, but there was a potential that they'd come back the following week. Using a sub on that position, and say he played before, I don't know, Man City had 2 games this week, using SAR and transferring him out. Even if Palace had 2 games, knowing that he was missing the first game, then you can substitute to a Man City player and then revert back. I don't think that that's a bad tactic. And also,
No.
if you're using it to sub in a player who is going down in price, because you're not going to break, like, regardless of how much money you're suggesting doesn't necessarily influence your thing, you're not going to bring in a player that's going down in zero point 0.3 in value, right? Whereas you could use that in the substitute in feature option as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just not sure that planning that thing out strategically is as a strategy
Okay.
will work very well, because it's all very well. So, like, how often is a player only out for 1 week and they're definitely back the next week? Just as an example,
Yeah.
you use substitute, then you use another substitute. It almost just feels like, and also you're not moving your team along either. So I don't know. But horses for courses.
If you take away the strategy point, which is the point that you're arguing just
Yeah.
now, going back to the initial point that we're making in the
Yeah.
conversation, though, if a player is going to be out unexpectedly
Yes.
in the first kickoff, knowing that even if they've got a second game that game week,
Yes.
that you can substitute them out for a player who's yet to play but has a double is a massive benefit. So there is going to be these situations later on in the season where you can capture it. I've used 2 substitutes as well, so
Yeah,
it's
no, of
not.
course. I think it's more of a fallback, though, than a strategic move personally. But we will find out, and it's good to have it. It adds another element of thinking, I suppose. But interestingly, I saw a lot of engaged managers captain Palmer this week. I don't know if you saw the same.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, right, so the kind of managers I talked about would never captain an injured player. And then their vice scored points. So the captain Palmer, and I was a bit confused at first, and then I thought that I wonder if they're waiting to see what their vice does before they substitute Palmer.
Choosing whether to substitute, and then the substitute would default to captain. So I had contemplated that tactic myself, and then I didn't want the position where Bruno scores 7 or 8 points and then having to make a decision
Basically
on
what he
whether I
did,
thought
he
that
scored
was
9,
good.
didn't he?
Yeah, whether that was good enough. I imagine in that scenario, 9 for Bruno was good enough for those that went that way. I could be wrong
Yeah, I don't know.
because then you're sacrificing the 9 points to get double what the substitute gets. And for me, there didn't feel like there was many easy games after that I could guarantee who I was bringing in would score above that.
So I think that is a tactic you could use. This for specifically, but a very potential, a very upsidey one. Obviously, because Bruno scored the 9 points, it kind of wiped out that benefit. But if Bruno had only scored a point or two, you could have easily moved Palmer onto anyone, and I think that's got massive upside, right? So I think that's where I may potentially look to use it in the future, but I don't know, we'll see. Interesting though. Viney also says, suppose you could use it for a 1-game ban if you wanted to keep the player. That's a good shout as well.
That's
a very good shout. Well done, Viney. Sorry, back to FPL. So you're off to a good start. You're around, I think you're probably around
1.5 million.
Yeah, which is a good start. In this in this format, a lot of engaged managers are sort of between 3 and 6 or 7 million, aren't they? I've seen through if you pick a template team, you're probably around 4 or 5 million. I was the same as you. I had a really good so bench boosters in 1, had a really good game week 2, and then disaster game week 3. 35. I scored even less than you. 35 points.
I didn't know how. I didn't know how you scored, and I had assumed that you'd scored much better.
No, at all. And I triple captained Chris Wood as well.
I didn't know that. No. I didn't know that.
So absolute disaster there. Really disappointed. But as we've spoken about, many times over the years, getting yourself into a position to potentially fly is what I'd got myself into. I was 69k. Salah obviously blanked. Obviously Salah blanked afterwards, so I can't exactly, but I was happy with the Salah against Arsenal. I was happy going with Wood, with the form that Wood had shown, the form that West Ham had shown. I thought a triple captain on Wood, even for 1 goal, right, would have probably got 24, 27 points, and would have catapulted me probably right up. If he'd have properly hauled, if he'd have got like 2 goals or 36 points, wherever it was. I mean, goodness me, I don't know where I'd be now. Obviously, it didn't work out. So I'm down to like 600k now. But I would do the same again, 100%. In terms of I got myself into a position to get lucky, and I didn't get lucky. But, I'm still 600k. I'm still sort of 20, 30 points ahead of the pack. I've got a good team, I think, still. So I'm taking a hit this week. I think I was tempted to pretend. I was looking at.
So it just sounds like an oxymoron. I've got a good team, so I'm taking a hit this week.
Well, no. So I'm trying to, I'm trying to play FPL this year like I play Dream Team, which is basically a hedge, and I try and find my edge elsewhere. It's how I play Dream Team. That's just how I play it, and I've come to realize that over the summer, really, and how I started playing FPL. So in game week 1, I hedged the Salah captaincy by going Gakpo, Wirtz, and Ekitike. And obviously it's worked out well over the 2 weeks. But obviously Liverpool now have got Burnley and Everton in the next 2. And I think taking on Salah, particularly as we're not even sure of, I say that, I'm pretty sure, Ekitike, I think the front 4 for Liverpool will be the same for game week 4. Ekitike's been coming off anyway around sort of 75, 80 minutes. But I'm probably going to bring in Salah just for game week 4 and 5 now for a hit, just to consolidate. I've already got a lot of the players who people are bringing in. So I've already got Semenyo. I've already got João Pedro. I've got Gakpo as well, which I still quite like for that Burnley match. I've got Kudus, who a few are bringing in as well. I've also got 8 Norrie, who I don't think many are bringing in, but I think is actually quite a nice, potentially explosive differential who I had on my game 1 bench boost. So I think I've got enough there. I've also got Porro, Romero, Reinders, Watkins, and that as well. So I think I've got a good team basically, and I think I'm going to do Palmer and Chris Wood, who I brought in specifically for the triple captain, to Salah, and probably just Mark you, just the 4.4 for the next 2 weeks. But I keep looking on the hub. You can forward your team on the hub on my team. I've got, and I do look at the team ratings, and I've got like 94%, 95%, 94% for game week 6, and it just makes me look. And like there's loads of people who are free hitting in game week 6 because they haven't got Forest players or City players, or I think they're the two plum fixtures, aren't they? I'm currently on 2 City and 3 Forest, and and there's also other fixtures. So I don't think I'll be free hitting a wild card in ahead of game week 6. I think I may do it in game week 7 potentially. But what I tend to do, again, sort of reflecting over the summer a little bit, is I tend to wild card or free hit almost not when others are, but I think the idea gets sewn in my head and then I can't get away from it. If that makes sense. But what I'm trying to do this year is just look completely objectively at my team, and I definitely don't need it in 4, 5, and 6. I've got really good teams for those 3 game weeks. Obviously 7 Arsenal. Arsenal's fixtures improve, and So I'll probably get. I think I'll get Haaland in for Salah in game week 6, and then I'll have Haaland, Reinders, and Aït-Nouri. And then
the beauty of this
Arsenal.
season in that move is that Haaland's cheaper than Salah, so you've got options in who you take out in midfield as well. Like you don't need to.
Exactly that. And I don't mind a hit, every now and then. I think the beauty of getting a lead as well, and you can think this rightly or wrongly, but I'm 40 points off the pack. Taking a hit just makes my stomach turn. When you're 20, 30 points up, it's all of a sudden it's not so bad, is it? You can afford to
play with free money.
Well, this is it. So I'm getting Salah in for a -4. I'm assuming nearly everyone will be captaining Salah away to Burnley. So I'm fine there. I'll have a decent week hopefully. So that's my roughish plans in FPL. Probably look to do something around about game week 7, but we'll see. Obviously things change, don't they? Arsenal got. I don't want to have any Arsenal players, so I could potentially wildcard into game week 7. I've seen lots of players, lots of content creators, lots of engaged managers talking about wildcards in game week 13. I just don't. But, maybe I'm wrong, but why are people after game week 1, 2, or 3 planning a wildcard in game week 13? For the life of me. I mean, if you're playing for an okay rank, just stick with the template and finish with the masses. Do it, great, have fun. Not the way I want to play. I don't get it. I don't get why you would look to wildcard in game week 13. Personally, but there we go. Okay, mate, how is the ultimate leaderboard looking?
So out of 74th, I am currently sitting 23rd. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Decent.
You are sitting in 14th. So I've got a average mini league rank of 28.7. You're in 14th with a average mini league rank of 25.3. So not too much different there.
So your dream team is pulling you down, isn't it? 52nd in dream team, and my TFF is pulling me down 44th.
Yeah. Top 10, we've got Craig Garton in 10th, Noel Brennan in 9th, Tim Barry in 8th, Grant Malabar in 7th, Tom Gledel in 6th, Carl Weeks in 5th, Tony Sutcliffe from DreamTeam Tonic in 4th, and then our top 3 in 3rd is Owen Johnson, who has an average mini league rank of 11th, Simon Davis in 2nd, who has an average mini league rank of 9, and Danny White out in 1st with an average mini league rank of 6.7. I don't think nobody currently sitting with single figure digits across the 3 games, so all very open still.
It probably is worth calling out out of the top 23, of which you are the 23rd. There's been a lot of chips using FPL.
Yeah.
Tony Sutcliffe in 4th hasn't used any, Ben Park in 12th hasn't used any, and there's Tom Wall, Gavin Shirley, Thomas Daines, and Forsey and Sam Troy. But other than that, there's been a lot used. So there's a big group gathering in behind, from like 24th down to 34th, who haven't used any chips at all. So and there's only been one Sun Dream Team booster used by anyone. Dave Park used 12th man chip. So, but very early doors, this table is flip flopping, like kind of like this in it at the moment. So 1 week can take you from 10th to 60th and vice versa. So very, very early days.
One question before we finish up. Who are you thinking about captain in Dream Team this week?
That is a very good question. Let's have a look.
I would guess it's between
I haven't looked.
Salah and Haaland. I think I'm on Haaland.
Yeah, probably Salah or Haaland. So Salah's away to Burnley, home to, is that Atletico Madrid?
Yeah.
And then Haaland home to United, home to Napoli. Probably. I don't know too much about European football. Are Atletico still as sturdy as they used to be?
Diego Simeone's still in charge. So
what's that?
Diego Simeone's still in charge. So I'd imagine the answer to that's yes.
So based on that, at this moment, I'd probably go Haaland. I think United, Napoli. I know Napoli have improved. Are Chelsea playing Barca next week? Is that right? FCB? Is that Barcelona?
I think so.
Wow. It's massive games early doors, that, isn't it? Wow.
Should definitely know that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should. Yeah, good stuff. So I suppose sort of overall in terms of your season,
Bayern.
A satisfactory start, do you think? Oh, it's Bayern. Who is it?
Yeah,
Bayern. Sorry,
Bayern.
Just as difficult.
Satisfactory. Yeah, it's somewhere between satisfactory and good.
Yeah, cool.
I think that's how I described my season at every juncture last season.
Yeah, same. It's tough, isn't it? Because and it's really hard because there's so many amazing managers who you're comparing yourself against, and we've all got the same information. We all put as much time into it, so it's really hard to get away from them. And when you think you have got away from them, they come back with a vengeance the following week, and it's just like, God, it's tough. But I suppose it's nice to be just I suppose eating at the top table with all these amazing managers. I'm just finding it harder and harder to find mini leagues without seeing all the same bloody names in now. Like years ago, just romp every mini league I was in. Whereas now, I was even in a mini league last year, right? I finished 21st overall, right? And finished third in that mini league. You're just like, it's just crazy. And in the mini league underneath it, which I've now been kicked out of, I won it by 400 points with the same team. So okay, all right, mates. Back next week.
Yep, all good.
Cool. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Speak to you all soon.